Welcome to today's Thop Talk right here on Thopverse. I'm your host Tarun Gangadhari and thought leader at Thopverse. And I'm excited to be here with all of you today. Now, before we dive into the art of our event, let me set the stage for what promises to be an enlightening and inspiring conversation. Today, we have a truly exceptional speaker with us, someone who has dedicated a significant portion of her career to address pressing issue employability among students. Our esteemed guest today is none other than Rimy Oberoi, the director at the Center for Advancement of Employability, and she's not just passionate about building employability solutions. She firmly believes that students are at their prime when they learn by doing. Our vision revolves around application based learning that complements classroom instruction. And she has invested a considerable amount of time and effort into developing innovative solutions for this challenge. With over 24 years of professional experience in various sectors, including FNC, IT, and IT services, Rimi has had a remarkable journey. She has worked with industry giants such as Hindustan, Unilever Limited, Adobe India, and Oyster Learning, gaining invaluable insights into different aspects of employability and learning. But Rimi's dedication doesn't stop at her professional career. She is also deeply involved in volunteering for exciting initiatives. She currently serves as the chair for TIE's Young Entrepreneurs Program Delhi NCR chapter, where she actively contributes to nurturing the entrepreneurial spirit among young minds. Moreover, she is the founder and trustee at Raksha University, demonstrating our commitment to educational excellence and innovation. And without any ado, we would like to listen your thoughts, and later on we would like to move our talk. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Tarun, and thank you all of you. Wonderful, really hearing about the story. Thank you for the kind words as part of the introduction. Also, I'm just curious to know what is the meaning of Thop. What does it mean, and what is the story behind the word when it was put together? Who's going to tell us? Shravan going to tell us, or Apurva? Anybody?
Okay,
Thop shall I go? Ashmita, yeah.
I'll go ahead, ma'am. So, Thop, it is the word we have taken from our local dialect. It's from Telugu, actually. It has so much history behind, but we usually, in our language, Thop is something beyond great. If someone does a very great thing, we say it as they did it Thop way. So that somehow we came up with the name Thopism. And we created a brand behind it.
So Rimi, if someone is like Chituluri said, Deepthi said, if someone is doing really good, they try to put them down using the sarcastic word "top." Are topra. So it's like basically they are trying to put you down using a good word. So we decided we'll make it a brand instead of whenever I used to hear that word, because that was a word that was used on me a lot. I was a nerd. I was always like, I wanted to, do something different. I was, I had so people used to all the time use the word about top on me. And I just, I felt demeaning. I felt less. So when we started like trying to figure it out on what is our evolution, so a lot of people were using that word "top." Top then, started. It also got into the movies. When I was growing up, "top" was not in the movies. Then later it came into the movies, and "top" is a very big word in Telangana.
I see.
So
I see.
then we'll make it a brand.
I am basically Malayali by birth, so if we do have some modification of it. I get what you're saying. The whole piece of sarcasm, when you say it. I think we say topane. It's a little more extended. So വലിയ തോപ്പാണല്ലോ, which means you're trying to be a big man. So I think
It is almost similar.
very similar, right? So It's interesting. I know it's useful to turn something around and make it like a brand versus saying that, oh, it's a bad word, let's not use it. So interesting. So I was, resonated with the word. I resonated with the word because it sounded familiar, but of course, I was wondering what it meant because it's a little more shortened version of how it's said in the language that I'm familiar with. So I was wondering. So great, wonderful to be here. I'm excited to be here, and I love interventions like this, Shravan. Thank you so much. It doesn't you don't need to be doing this. Most of us, once you've had financial success, life is going on well, it's just easy to just let it flow and really not make that effort. Rightly said by the team that Shravan could have just had a nice comfortable life, lived off his savings, and done his consulting work and said that life is good. But I think that drive to not just give back, drive to do much more in that one life that we have is central to the way we must all live our lives. I think that's a great way to start what I am supposed to talk about today, that what makes great leaders. And I think Shravan's given a good example. I see elements of it in all of you. The entire positivity, the openness, the sense of passion and purpose at such a young age. I see perseverance, something going on for 5 years. Most people give up very early on saying that, oh, it's not very big, or it's nothing much is happening. Something or the other, they'll just have some critical talk and then they will give up on it. But this is where perseverance matters, and you don't realize it. The journey itself is the goal. So what you are going through itself is the goal that you have achieved. There is no sort of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that suddenly 10 years from now Thop is this. That's where we tend to feel very frustrated with our lives. So let's start talking about what all of this means from the point of view of why do certain people understand this and are visible in our society, as we call them, the leaders in our society. So I want to make today's conversation. Madhu sat in one of my sessions, and this is the first time I did it for young people. I realized that I did give him a lot of lack of any other word, gyan, in 1 hour, and very young people, just as young as all of you. I reflected on what I taught. He did a fantastic job of summarizing it on LinkedIn, way better than what I think my own notes were. I mentioned it to him also. But I also realized that as young people in today's time, there is just a overwhelming amount of knowledge and wisdom and inputs that you keep getting in the world that you live in. Social media keeps giving you reels, or there is small write-ups on LinkedIn, Facebook. There are videos that keep getting circulated. How do you make sense of all of it? And they're all good pieces of knowledge and advice. There is no doubt about it. And then there are books also available. So how do you kind of figure out the step-by-step method to becoming a leader, right? And of course, there is the entire set of social piece related to, leader must be somebody who leads people, leader must be visible, he must be the one taking the first step in any team activity, he must be the most vocal. So all of those things also sometimes create a lot of confusion, because not all of us are like that, but we all would like to be leaders. Wanting to be a leader is sort of the first step of wanting to be recognized, wanting to be visible, right? So if you are not sometimes an extrovert, for example, or someone who likes to be the first one to speak in a group, there is a lot of personal confusion that, am I not meant to be a leader, right? And there are a lot of nuances as you go through life, as you read, and you become wiser just because of the years of experience of talking and meeting lots of people. And places like Thop will really help you to achieve that. You will see the various parts of the building fall into place, and you'll start to connect the dots retrospectively. It's very difficult to connect the dots prospectively, which is saying that, okay, now I've done this, now the next step will be this. That's rarely possible. You might have an understanding of next set of steps, but it's very difficult to build the entire path. As you go through life, you keep reflecting on what you have experienced with what you've experienced before, and then you connect the dots retrospectively, and then you understand yourself, and then that sort of helps you to move forward, right? So don't worry too much about what you're engaging with in terms of knowledge. Don't worry too much about, am I a leader, am I not a leader, am I making a visible difference in the life I'm leading in terms of visibility. That's something that we all want to achieve, especially when you're very young. You desire that, am I getting to be known? I'm a different person from my friend and my family, so am I getting known, to be known? So I'm going to just attack that one problem in this conversation today, versus trying to kind of come with this huge set of things that we can all do. Definitely, I will cover some of it at the end, just as a sort of a summary. But I want to start with one thing that I feel in a country like ours, we need to pay attention to. When you look at India, we are a country which is still developing as far as its organizational systems are concerned. I started working in 1998, and India had just opened its doors to liberalization in 1992. So when you say opened, it just means that the government said now companies can come to India independently and start operating. They didn't have to get licenses from the government. They could produce as much as they wanted to and export as much as they wanted to. They could sell in the domestic market. There were no restrictions on how to do business. There were no tariffs, which is extra taxes because you are from outside India, which would have made these companies very unprofitable. So they had the same level playing field as any other domestic company, which meant that soon you had more products available in India which were cheaper, because immediately competition increased. You got better quality products. These companies had a lot of money, so they could put up manufacturing plants, they could put up offices, and hence jobs started to come in. A lot of good jobs, better paying jobs started to happen in India. And that's how India started to have good companies, which good practices, because good quality people got attracted to these jobs. Companies came to good MBA campuses, engineering campuses, and started recruiting students. Companies were having management training programs or engineering training programs, which taught these people to be how to good at what they are doing, and hence they started to earn very well. And hence, because they've been taught well, they started to work in other companies and carried forward their practices. And slowly and steadily, India started to have a good organization, which is a lot of organizations with good practices, right? And then more and more organizations started to come into India. So once you start having once you have very few, when you are at a stage where you have very few organizations, what happens is that all of us are responsible for doing everything. In the early days, there was no specialization in India. You could be a general manager and you could do administration, you could do human resources, you could sometimes have handling back-end operations also. Then when the companies became bigger, then they started to specialize. And as technology came in, even more specialization started to happen, right? The US and the Western world has been in that state 30, 40 years before us, right? So it is only when society starts to become more and more specialized, you realize that what worked for you before will not work today. And what individuals start to notice is that there is a lot of people doing the same thing as what I am doing. And how am I different from all that was, everybody else? And that's when the confusion used to start. Earlier, there were not these, there were no opportunities. People became a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, and they did their individual lives. There was no internet. There were no questions about, are you becoming a leader? If you have parents who worked in the government sector, you would ask them, they would say, got up in the morning, had my breakfast, went to work, and came back, right? Finished my work, took care of my family, and ensured that they got good education. Now with the internet, with more companies available, more opportunities to be visible, there is now an expectation on all of us. How can I go out there and be more visible? How can I become a leader? On top of that, the technology it helped people to make a lot of money, right? And a lot of money was aligned to leaders are the ones who can make a lot of money. And in our society, money is a proxy for success. I'm not saying that you should go after extreme wealth, but if you have done well financially, it shows your abilities in a certain sense. And it seemed to indicate that the great leaders of the world make a difference and also achieve wealth. Not necessarily Mahatma Gandhi is a great leader. He did not look at wealth as a reason, but it was clearly visible that there was a lot of benefits of being a leader. Either there was visibility, recognition, you won prizes if you're a scientist, or you created wealth for yourself. All of this became visible to all of us, right? However, Indians are still, we have been for quite some time used to the concept of general education, learn how to read and write, get a job, now become a leader. It's like suddenly jump and become a leader sort of thing, right? So I'm just setting a context to help you understand that how we see each other. And then we look at the West and then we wonder, why can't we be like them? Right? Why are they so much more successful than all of us? Right? It's not to say that what we have done is not enough. I mean, if you look at our tradition, we have, there's an interesting chart that you look in the 1900s, we're one of the most rich countries in the world, 1900, 300 years ago, we were the most rich country in the world. But, the British came and there was a colonization that happened. So between the 1300s to the 1900, we lost all our wealth. And hence there was they had figured out tools that we didn't have. They had armies, there was military strength. As a result of which, we lost a lot of that wealth. We had not organized ourselves commercially, and hence we didn't know how to take care of our wealth, and we lost out there. So now we're sort of in a circle where we are the fastest growing country in the world. Now, how do we get to a level of leadership as a country, and how do we get to a level of leadership as a society, as an individual? These are now pressing needs for a country like India, right? Now, when you have so much information, there's confusion around how we should get there, right? We tend to look at the West, we look at information that's available. I would recommend to all of you to look at one or two main things, and the rest is sort of you connect the dots as your life goes forward, right? Wisdom apart, the number one thing is in all of us at the age that all of you are, is to invest time in mastery. Okay. Can someone tell me what is mastery? Just from the word, it's self-explanatory, but if someone can tell me what is mastery?
Mastering in something. Yeah, becoming the best, I guess.
Becoming the best. Yes, definitely. Anything else beyond that? It is obviously, the right definition, but what do you think is beyond that is mastery?
Could we also say you have passion in something which causes to get, to get mastery, and also excellence, probably to strive for excellence also
Right,
causes you to have
right.
mastery in a particular area.
Right, absolutely. So, mastery is a very broad term, while it's an obvious one that you are competent, capable, have excellence in a particular subject area or function. It also underlies a person's ability to be passionate and purpose driven about an area of work. Okay, so we need to have mastery. Without mastery, we will not have purpose, we will not have passion, because mastery is a reflection of purpose and passion. Why would I be good at something? Why would I want to be good at something? Tell me something that one of you are good at, and tell me a story behind that. Why are you good at it?
Yeah, coming to me, I am
Yes,
good at
sir.
I'm good at using Canva in making designs.
And
Uh,
why do you think you're good at it?
because I
What
love
drives you
making
to be good at it?
because I love making it. Uh,
Okay, all right. And what do you want to achieve from it? When you use Canva to create designs, what do you sort of see as an outcome of the same?
I want to be the number one, or I want to be the some pro level to contribute something to the society or something to my team by designing. Say, suppose we design poster every week. If I do the better one, my design would be a template for my team, and there is nothing to invest more time in that creating a new template, right? By others,
Yes,
so that
yes.
Yeah, I want to be the one to reduce the work for my team or something else, or, or in the society. I want to contribute something. Yes.
Right. And don't you have a pure joy of doing it also? When you do it, you feel that you are enjoying the process.
Mm,
You get a good feeling out of improving every day, which is by finding some new feature, some faster way to do something. You go and research on new templates that exist on the internet. You compare yourself with that of others who, you maybe subscribe to news feeds of templates. So you keep driving yourself to do it, not because it's an exam you have to take, okay, not because it's a competition, not because there is a badge or some certificate you'll get at the end of it, right? So the number, I think the most important thing, leadership starts with mastery. Okay, mastery helps you to be known for being good at something. All right. When you are known for being good at something, people reach out to you to get help in that area. Okay. People look up to you for help and guidance in that area. You yourself feel a sense of purpose because by teaching others, by improving, you are becoming a better person than what you were the day before. It helps to fulfill a sense of passion and purpose because you love what you're doing, right? I'm not saying that we have to love every single thing that we are good at. There are lots of people who are very good at math will not necessarily say, oh, I love math, but there is something that drives them. They believe that math solves a particular problem. It gives them a sense of purpose when they can help others with it. It helps them. They understand that with math I can do things with my life, either gain certain amount of financial independence, be able to do better at my workplace, and so on and so forth, right? Mastery is the platform on which you build the next set of capabilities as a leader, right? So when you look at leadership in your life, when you look at your friends around you, what are some of the aspects of leadership that you have noticed that, oh, I like that about him? I like to be someone who would have that particular capability. Any thoughts? Sure, Asrita.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming and giving us this talk today. So I feel the art of listening and being committed, all these skills add value to what leadership is.
Right, right,
Participating something, being committed to that, and
right.
meeting those deadlines.
Right, right. So, when you have mastery over things, you have high level of confidence in an area or a subject, right? Then when you engage with others, you improve your mastery by acquiring knowledge from others, right? So leaders move forward not only to, because not only because they have mastery, but they have the ability to listen and absorb from others, right? They are there not because they want to tell others what they're good at, because they already know that they're good at something, right? When we listen, when we have an impatience to tell what we know, it comes from sometimes, not necessarily all the time, from a place of, I have to tell also what I know, right? And interestingly, leaders have the opposite belief. I know what I know, but I also know what I don't know. And if this person can teach me something that will improve my understanding of something that I do not know, I'm going to become better at it, right? So as you increase your mastery, it is astonishing. You actually get to know what you do not know, right? Versus people who do not have mastery, neither do they know, nor do they know what they do not know, so that is the highest level of mastery, when you really know that piece. For example, in Canva, if I'm able to ask Tarun, I'm sure you know the stuff that you still haven't acquired. Tarun, are you here? Yeah, I'm sure you still know the stuff that you still haven't acquired capability in, as far as Canva is concerned. Are there aspects of Canva's capabilities that you will say I need to be better at?
mm, yeah, there are some areas to be better, but I'm not sure like where can I improve more. If I see same person like me, I have a chance to learn more from them, or I can observe things like me. Like say, suppose I use 3 to 4 software or 3 to 4 tools by making a template. But if someone who uses one tool for making a template or like that, I don't prefer. Like if they use beyond me, like I used to listen to them, or I used to absorb something from them. Like, this is a new thing. I need to improve it. I see that.
Absolutely.
I see that beauty.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
you're at a stage where you already acquired capability in 3, 4 software, and now you're looking for information or understanding from somebody else who's doing something else, because you know that something else is something you do not know. That quickly you're able to make sense of it, right? So leaders are normally again observant, because they look at somebody and says, okay, this is what he's doing, this is how he's doing it, and he absorbs from them, listens to what they are saying, applies it against their mastery that they already have, and is able to move forward, right? So when you build mastery at this age, you start to immediately start being different from others around you, right? I somehow feel we are sometimes taught all the other softer aspects of leadership, which is, listen to others. But what will you listen? What is it that you're going to listen to? You can't listen to and absorb everything this world is saying, right? You cannot absorb deeply everything that everyone is saying, right? Where is it that you will, otherwise it'll be like the internet, absorb hundreds of small, thousands of small pieces of data, which you'll forget immediately afterwards, right? Or be observant. What do I be observant of? Is it the traffic on the road? Is it what my father and mother are giving me as advice? Is it something that my friends are interested in? Is it what my spouse wants to tell me? My girlfriend, boyfriend wants to tell me? What is it that I'm going to be mindful and observant about? Right? It comes from your mastery. What are the areas that you are really good in? And the others, you might observe and listen, but you'll be more empathetic, which means I understand from where you are coming. You are trying to explain something to me. You are clearly, good at that. And I accept and empathize with whatever you are trying to tell me. But I am not, as a person, trying to now become good at whatever you are good at, right? If I am good at cricket and, you come and tell me about volleyball, what should I be doing? I'm not going to say I don't want to listen to you, of course not. But I will just listen for the sake of the fact that there is someone who wants to, expand, or he wants to share his knowledge of volleyball with me. I will be empathetic, which means I will listen. But beyond a point, I will say that, really nice to listen to you and understand. But I will not take up that pressure of now I have to understand volleyball. Now I have to be good at volleyball also. Otherwise, I won't be a leader, because I won't be able to empathize and I won't be able to observe and listen and think. No, you know as young people, I think there is too much knowledge coming your way, and too much expectation to be able to contribute, do well in everything. Do try to figure out an area where you're very good at, and try to, and I'm sure it's not just one area. It could be health, having good health, which is exercising well, knowing how to be better at looking after your health, knowing what are the food that kind of food that will work well for you, sleeping well, knowing how to sleep well for 8 hours or whatever is the number of hours that's comfortable for you. Those are all aspects. That is all mastery. Or being good at something at the workplace, picking up a hobby that you think is, a good de-stressor, but be good at it, really good at it. Okay. And that is how you become a role model. Okay. And that role model is what people look up to, demonstrated leadership where you've achieved mastery in all these elements of your life. And mastery doesn't mean that there's nothing left to learn. Mastery means a clear understanding of excellence, a knowledge of what you don't know, a pursuit of self-improvement, and clearly an example to others. When they seek guidance, you're able to help them out. Right now, I'm not saying at age 20, 25 you will know everything that is to be known in the area of health and sleeping, but at least get on the path, be on the path to acquiring this mastery. Right? There are people my age at 50 also who have very bad lifestyle. I mean, Shravan would know. Shravan and I are very similar age, very bad lifestyle, still don't get their 6 to 8 hours of sleep, cannot meditate even for 10 minutes, forget maybe a minute, do not have a single area that they would say, this is our expertise. As I was hearing you, I went and checked Shravan's background. He's worked for 25 years or in software engineering at Oracle. So you will expect him to guide any one of you to build projects and products in coding, right? So he has got mastery, and if he doesn't understand something, he has the ability to acquire expertise in that, right? That is also mastery, the ability to acquire more capabilities in the same area, because you've already built this solid foundation that anytime you want to, you can go and do that. But if you tell him now, tomorrow, become an astronaut or go do bungee jumping, he'll say, sorry, no, that's not my area of strength. Find somebody else for it, right? Leaders know what they do not know. They will never say, oh, I'm raising my hand for this and all the 100 things, right? Because they've identified the 4-5 things that they want to be known as role models, want to be good at. They're observant, they listen well, they're empathetic, they know power of teams. They don't do achieve all this on their own. If I have to build a company, just because I know how to write code, doesn't mean I can build the company. Now, I need a person like Tarun to do my design, to do my UI UX. I need somebody else like, the Dasruthi, Apurva Dasruthi, to do my conversations with my customers, be the face of my company. I need people to, I need, Madhu to be my networker. I'm sure he's a solid networker connecting everybody with everybody. So, you need so many people, and leaders really understand the power of teams. But the teams join the leader because of mastery. Why do we join certain companies after speaking to CEO of a company, let's say a startup? Because you are confident that the CEO understands his job. He gets the product, the core product that the company is trying to sell, or he gets the customer. He knows how to sell to customers, right? He knows how to write the software code to build the product, right? So mastery attracts followers. There is a belief that this person can guide us and help us to become better and become masters at achieve mastery ourselves, right? Leaders are also good risk takers. They have a good sense of what can go wrong and right. And that actually comes from good foresight. It's amazing that most of the risk taking that is foolish is because of poor foresight. It's not because of lack of courage. Most people have lots of courage. There is nothing stopping us from doing something. But the good risk takers are the ones who have a foresight, who can say that if I try doing this, these are the next 5 things which are going to happen. And they will pick and choose. They'll not do 10 different things. They'll choose 2-3 things. Again, a lot of it comes from their mastery and experience, because they've understood over time. I'm sure you've all heard of this concept of 10,000 hours of practice. I like to say 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. It is not just, if I have to learn service, I don't just do the same thing 10,000 hours. I'll still know how to do the service in badminton the same wrong way. But if I've worked on 10,000 hours deliberately, changing my technique, getting feedback, again reworking it, I know where the shuttlecock will fall. I know how much strength and I have to use. I know how I have to turn my bat. I know the effect of wind on my shuttlecock. I know from where the legwork of my opponent, which side he's standing. It is hours and hours of practice, which is foresight, because as I hit the shuttlecock, I know what my opponent is going to do. Right? So when leaders have foresight and risk-taking attitude, they're able to achieve. But all of that starts with the fact that they are good at what they're doing. Their mastery has helped them to get there, and they do not have to ego. They understand what they don't know. They seek out knowledge from others, observe others, listen to others, work on teams, and ensure that all of this comes together to be able to take risks at the right time. Apparently, in the stock market, I was reading yesterday, very interesting. Do you know most people don't beat the stock market? Which means if you just put money against the index, which is like, let's in India, it's the BSC index, and you just put money in something called the index fund, which is, it just tracks the 30 stocks of the index of the BSC Sensex. That's how the index gives you the number every day. You will not lose money. Okay, and that's called not beating the market. The market is whatever is the increase the BSE Sensex is able to achieve every day over years. Most people want to beat the market, right? Because they say, what is the point? I'm making just the amount of money that everyone is making. How am I going to become richer? And then they start taking risks, right? The smart guys are the ones who learn to avoid the mistakes that will result in losing money, right? When you take risk, two things happen, right? You can make money and lose it also. It's not one way only, right? So when you start trying to beat the market, which very few people normally will be able to, which means it's a high risk habit, trying to beat the market. What should you learn? Should you learn how to make more money, or should you learn that when I take this risk, I will not lose my money, right? So I try something, right? And try something. It fell below the market. I learned something, but I didn't lose my money. Let's say I put 1,000 rupees, I got 1,000 rupees back, or maybe I got 1,500 rupees back, and the market had gone to, let's say, 1,600 rupees. So I'm below the market because I tried something new, but I didn't lose my money. It didn't go below 1,000 rupees, right? High risk takers without foresight tend to beat the market and they lose their money, right? And that comes from poor mastery of stock market and investing. What is the right temperament? What is the right time to buy a stock? Buying a stock when it's going up and selling when it's going down. Traditional mistakes, being very emotional, using your cash, which you don't have to spend on the stock market when you need the cash for your household needs, and suddenly having to pull it out of the market. All bad habits of someone who doesn't understand investing. But once you figure out mastery and you say that 70% of my stock will be against the index fund because I don't want to lose my money, 30% I will take some risk. And that risk also, I will not lose my money. I might not make too much money, right? And then when you look at such people, you say, how does he do it? It is not any magic. He's invested hours and hours in mastering the concept of investing. He's read so many books. He's discussed with so many other people who are very good at investing, looked at the past mistakes of the best investors, kept looking at data, build his own database so as well as to be able to track his stocks very well, uses good software systems to have data available at his fingertips all the time, ensures that he doesn't use money that his family needs or might be needed by his sudden in urgent basis, right? So we don't see that. We just look at the outcome and say that, oh wow, he's so good at it. He's the kind of guy I would want to work for and make money, right? And learn from him, right? But there's been first an investment in mastery, right? Good leaders are also good problem solvers. You will notice you go to them, they have answers. Why is it they have answers? Forget experience. Why is it they have answers?
Because they understand it better.
Exactly. It's as simple as that. They just understand it better. They have obviously been taught how to solve problems better, and they spend time looking at the problem, understanding step by step, why did the problem start. They don't get blinded by the obvious. Let me ask a question. It's a trick question, but it's for the fun of it. Imagine you've jumped off a plane and you've pulled the parachute and the parachute doesn't open. What will you do?
I will fly.
Sorry? I'll try flying.
Yeah.
So it's a trick question. If I write it down, you
Did
guys will
you,
know the answer writing.
me? Did you say we already jumped, or
Ah.
you are still in the plane and we're out?
No. You've jumped. Imagine you've jumped off a plane and you pull the parachute and the parachute doesn't work. What do you do?
Maybe since you're asking us to imagine, maybe just wake up.
Stop imagining. Yes, Shravan.
Yes.
Stop imagining, right? So, so of course, when I write it, this happens for even simple mathematical equations. People will ask questions and you tend to suddenly jump to the answer. While people who have mastery of the subject do not have any perceptions or do not have any preconceived notion. They start with the information that's available. They absorb the information, understand it. They're not blinded by the imagine. Right? Shravan and I have experience, so immediately we've either seen, heard such things. But mastery at your level is to pay attention to the words. In English, I'm sure you've come across these puzzles where somebody sends you a puzzle and says, "Can you read this whole paragraph?" And each of the words in the paragraph are all jumbled. As in, sentences are not jumbled. How will just have H and W. R will just have A and E. going will have G and G, but you're able to read it. Why are you able to read it? Because the English is being taught in such a manner that if you just have few letters of the word, you can read the entire sentence, because you're not reading just the word. You're reading the words before it, after it, you're reading the first letter, the last letter, but it also makes us assume, right? So I'm not saying all the time you should not assume, oh, we will have a terrible life if you have to think in the morning, okay, now I have to brush my teeth. Okay, thinking about brushing teeth, taking brushing it, putting it in my teeth. No, you should not do that. Of course not. That's called automicity, automatically doing things. And as you attain mastery, you will know automatically what to look for, right? Over time, when you get good at a job, you actually become more automatic at it, not actually the other way around, where you keep looking at it all the time, right? When you are trying to serve for the first time with a shuttlecock, what happens? You stand there, you look around, you're wondering, should I do it? Should I not? Look at your coach, look at your teammate. First you think, okay, I'll do a shot like this. Then you say, okay, I'll do a shot like this. Or then you look at the opponent, oh, should I do at the back? Should I do at the front? You're thinking about all of this. When you have mastery, it happens in a flash of a, blink of an eye. You already see the setting, you know who's standing where, you know that, at the beginning, you would like to do a cross shot, you would like to do a drop shot. It's there in your mind. It's a replay, right? What a leader is able to do is that when the scores are down, that's when he thinks about what needs to be done differently. And then he thinks of all the options which are possible. Very interesting thing about chess. Have you ever thought, why is that chess is one sport where you have a lot of world champions who are extremely young? 14-year-olds, 12-year-olds. Some person recently from India has beaten Vishwanath Anand's record, or has now replaced him. He's like what, 13, 14 years old? I think he's from Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, or Tamil Nadu, one of these states. How is that such young people are able to achieve mastery so fast? Because one would think, like, if I'm a really good software engineer, I would be 20, 21, 25, maybe 30. Normally, it's very unusual to find a software engineer at 13 years. In fact, I don't know. Maybe. So why is that in chess? It's not the first time. Even Vishwanath Anand, he was very young when he became, world famous. So why is that in chess there is mastery at such an early age? What is chess? It's 64, square, and you have this two, lines of, pawn and all the various players, and there are moves, right? But the moves are only on these 64 squares. The moves are not outside the 64 squares. The 64 squares is a mathematical principle, right? They can only be 64 cube, 64 square situations, right? So it is really about learning every possible move that can happen. And if you can learn that move as early as possible, which is memory, and then you practice those moves, when your opponent moves his first pawn, the person on the other side who's learned all the moves can immediately remember the 20 moves this guy is going to do, or 30 moves he will possibly think of doing. And when he moves the next pawn or next, horse or whatever, he can now realize the 30 other moves that are possible, which will lead to mate, checkmate, right? You can do it at any age. Of course, you can't do it at 2 or 3, but you can start at 4 or 5 and go by the time you're 13, you have memorized as much as 30, 40,000 moves. That's mastery, right? Shravan sir is very good at chess, so I can imagine the whole game. Right, exactly. That's foresight, and that's right risk taking, So it is because of the ability to understand every move automatically. And it is not as if Shravan sir is thinking number 1 move, 2 move, 3 move. In the blink of an eye, he's thought of all the 30, 40,000 moves and said, these are the 3 moves he's going to do. These are the 3 best moves right now. Right? So automaticity will happen, but till that time, you have to be practicing, picking up mastery picking up whatever it takes to be the best. And there are obviously your classroom training teaches you that, your friends teach you that. Pursuing new, like Taran says, I am not interested in people who are using only one software. Obviously, he's better than somebody else who knows how to use one software. But he'll pursue somebody else. He'll join online forums. He'll ask questions in online forums. That, hey, I'm stuck here. What do I do? This new feature is coming, but I'm stuck. When I used it for that. So he's all the time asking questions around it, right? And is becoming better and better at it. He's open to questions. He's willing to listen. He takes risks with templates. Sometimes he'll try a completely new template, might fall apart, but he knows enough to try something new, right? And that's how suddenly you start being known for what you are. If you stop this process at any point, that is where you stop becoming a leader. You decide, I don't want to write this blog. I don't want to go and present. I don't want to tell the world about my skill. I don't want to build a company around this. Then, of course, there are issues. Shravan, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, we are doing something called Brown is Beautiful campaign. So basically, we are asking people to send a picture, a video, a poem, a write-up, a blog, whatever it is, to talk about how brown is beautiful. Do you think we can send you the Instagram link and also the Google form? Do you think you can pass it on to the people so that way they can also participate? We are going to give prizes and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can discuss what are the ways in which you would like to, work with me on any of the various initiatives that you're doing. Absolutely. If this is one of those initiatives, absolutely happy to help in whatever way I can do. Right?
Then one more thing is, Rimy, we have now lot of support from many companies and many successful people. So if we want to get internship, we have access to internships now. Our young people get jobs very easily. We have access to companies because they participate. We invite many companies to do that Our Story event, which we did for you. We invite many people. We don't take a shortcut here. No one here is like, saying, oh, okay, you know what, I'm just going to sit and some money is going to come. Everyone who is part of Thop is going after their dreams. So and we are a value-based organization. And at this moment of time, we are finally, it took us almost 6 years. In a year, in a month, it will be 6 years. It took us over 300,000 hours to come to where we are. Like, it's mastery, right? It took us this many hours.
Yeah, that's underestimated. Success is an overnight story of 10 years.
Right.
That's what the best in the business would tell you. I mean, when Mark Zuckerberg, IPO'd his company in 2008 or something, people looked at the fact that his product came out in 2004, and 2008 he had IPO'd. But the reality was he was coding at the age of 13. And by the time he IPO'd, he was 23, 24. So, and Harvard was just something that he had already understood what to do. So, the hours get calculated very wrongly when people say, oh, in 4 years he became a worldwide success. So yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that's the kind of work you have to do if you want to be different. You have to try different things, and absolutely. So I'm sorry, you could go for it.
So we now have the capability of even taking 10,000 students into our online community.
Sure.
So if you feel that we do a event called Obsession event every single day from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is all organized by themselves. They will have a topic, they'll do it. Because if you are not obsessed about something,
yes,
you cannot be a master.
Absolutely.
You cannot develop mastery. You cannot really be passionate, right? You have to be passionate. And you need to have a purpose. Obsession means you have a purpose. Obsession means you have a passion. Obsession means you are, hey, I want to be a master. So
Absolutely.
we have something called obsession events every day from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Because
Mhm.
what happens is, if you're, suppose say you have dirt on your physical body, you can see it and you can remove it. But there is also dirt, which is negative thoughts that are accumulating in your mind. That needs to be cleaned out too. The way we clean our body, the way we need to clean our mind. So our obsession events are a way to clean our minds every single day and keep it fresh. So we have these obsession events, we have Thop talks, we have all these things. So now, if you and also we have internship opportunities, we have job opportunities. And some of my friends now told me that recently they said, hey, if needed, we'll also do H1B to take your students to US. And many of our students have already gone to US on a fellowship. Now, see, Nikhil has just joined. He's in Penn State in Pennsylvania in US. It is actually beyond, it's 12:40, it's beyond midnight for him. And he joined. He's a Thopi, and he has a fellowship in chemical, he's doing his PhD in chemical engineering with a fellowship. So we have
Wonderful.
done all of these things, Rimy. So I feel like we can help, because you are also in the same space. You want these young people to get jobs, to
Mm.
develop mastery. So
Yes.
I think
Do
Top was,
really well in one area and be really the best at it. It just
yes,
and keep
yes,
it as simple as that. And of course the other aspects of your life too. But getting distracted by 10 different things and hence not achieving mastery is one of the biggest reasons for our frustration. Because daily
yes,
basis we think about, oh, I want to be this, and then we spend our time dreaming and like he said correctly, Shravan, filling our minds with a lot of clutter. Uh,
yes, exactly.
which
So
then
we,
lose
so
our way.
if you feel like you can recommend people in your, the people who come across to
Ah,
our community, we
absolutely.
are willing to definitely
Yes, yes,
assist them.
definitely can do. I mean, that's one of the benefits of, meeting people like you, that to spread the word amongst students that I interact with very regularly through my other, volunteering work, specifically the Thai Young Entrepreneurs Program, for example. It's an annual program where we get in students at school level, 9th standard, 12th standard, to participate in a business plan competition. And I'm chair for it, where I mentor the students to ensure that they're able to, come out with a proof of concept of a product and present it and finally get feedback on it. Many of them actually try to also develop those products later on and make it more commercially viable. So that's a large set of students who I can definitely talk about Thop in my, and we are having a presentation in the coming week, in fact, 1st of October, with them in Delhi. So I'll talk about some of my experiences, what I've done recently, and I'll, mention the Instagram link and talk about, if you guys are interested, feel free to sign up and spread the word accordingly.
Are you talking about TIE?
Chai is the Indus entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's out of the Silicon Valley. But under that umbrella, there is something for the school children. It's called the Thai Young Entrepreneurs. T stands for TIE, and short form of Thai, and
Yeah.
Young Entrepreneurs Program. So it's got
And
30 chapters across the world. They have one in Silicon Valley area
yeah,
also.
this is like, actually, this is something I did get involved in my early 2000s.
Early years.
I think
Okay.
it started around that time.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
was
you're
one of
right.
the,
You're right.
yeah,
Early
I was one
2000.
of the, that was like, that it got started.
Kamal
So that was
Ricky
one of,
and Kamal
yeah,
Ricky is the founder of the Thai
we
program.
have, I have a very close friend of mine who is very active in Thai.
Ah,
Uh, and he's from,
which
Silicon
chapter?
Valley. Yeah,
Which
he's from the Silicon Valley chapter.
Valley chapter. Okay, all right, got it.
What is, Palani's, what's his name? I suddenly forgot now. Palani. So anyway, we know,
Connect separately on that. Yeah.
we can, what is his name? I forgot. Palani's friend who talked to us many times. Do you remember? Palani's Raghu Iyer. Raghu Iyer is, I
Achha.
think he's a chapter lead in something. He's, so
Quite
Thai is,
possible. Quite
yeah,
possible.
Raghu
Sounds.
Iyer. You can look at it. He might be
Oh,
even coming. If there is a big event happening, who knows? He might even be coming to Delhi. So, Rimy, definitely we can, because when I went through your LinkedIn profile, I was definitely very impressed with you. My God, I was thinking I had so many questions actually I wanted to ask you. What I'll do is I
thank
will,
you so much. Very kind of you to say that.
yeah, thank you. So what I'll do is I will take your number if you're okay. Um, can you give your mobile number so that I can contact you through
Yeah,
WhatsApp?
yeah. I have Madhu's number. I can just WhatsApp my number. Madhu has my number. So,
Okay.
Madhu, you can just share it with Shravan. Yeah.
Okay. So then what I'll do is I'll connect with you.
Hmm.
And I will also ask not just Madhu, I will ask many of these young people to connect with you. I want them to individually have conversations with you
Sure,
because
sure,
you are a inspiring person, and I'm pretty sure they will all benefit talking with you.
sure, sure.
And
Absolutely. Happy to do that. Happy to
and
do
then
that.
the
I always feel, and I'm hearing based on whatever the couple of girls who spoke, I know Madhu personally. I think there's so much potential, but
yes,
if the potential is not leveraged in the early age, there is a sense of frustration that I have not made it.
yes,
Look at my friends. Though it is impossible to tell you don't come, and it's difficult to tell you don't compare because we all tend to compare. If you start becoming confident about something that you're good at, you'll be easily able to come to terms with, I'm good at this is what I'm passionate about, I will continue my journey in this area and keep picking up better and better skills, I will not lose track. That is enough.
yes,
But
yes,
that there is a compounding impact of years, trust us. Both of
yes,
us have been there. The
yes, yes,
concept of money, when you put 100 rupees today, it will become multiples of that, but if you keep taking it out, it will not.
yes.
Right? So if you don't work hard on one thing and become really good at it, you will not become anybody. But if you worked hard on it, 10 years later, you will become very good. Very, very good. In fact, beyond your wildest dreams. But
One of
unfortunately,
the
our
things,
country, we tend to get very distracted by, oh, he's doing engineering, let me do engineering. He's doing MBA, let me do MBA. Oh, he's doing marketing, let me do marketing. Family says, okay, what are you doing? Look at Sharma's son or daughter, do that. Then we do that. Then you say, I'm tired of all this. Then you sit at home, and then you lose track, sort of thing. Oh, I want to start a business with my friend. It's everything, all confusion and where is the mastery? What am I going to pick up the phone and call you and ask you about? What are you going to be good at that I would say, I met this guy, he's so good at this. Let's call him for this. That's what you should aim for. That the
yeah,
moment somebody thinks of some area which you're good at, they will have you in their mind because they met you once. That
yes.
once.
We even started we started using these words called micro specialities.
Yes.
So that is another thing
Yes.
we really got
Yes.
into something called micro specialization.
That's very good. In fact, chemical engineering is too broad. If you say you're interested in chemical engineering, then what within that? Let's say polymers, within that, new materials, or is it modifying existing materials? Is it composites? For somebody, I mean, nickel, I'm just giving example because you said nickel. So, that's a level at which then, of course, people like you and I might not understand what you're saying, Nickel, but there will be a universe which will understand you well enough and you will be the best in that universe. And if you
Yes.
can solve some problem because of that skill, you're the leader in your world, and that's all that is required. That is all. I don't think
We,
Mahatma Gandhi started thinking that he will become a world leader when he took a Dandi march or quit India movement. He just wanted to solve this problem, right? And then look
yes,
what it gave us. And
yes,
most of us, and unfortunately, I think the internet makes us think that if our business idea or what we want to do does not solve it for a billion people, not even a million now, a billion people, it's not a good idea. Can you solve for 50 people? Can you solve for your classmates? Can you
yeah,
solve for your neighborhood? Then let's see. When you become a leader,
yeah.
automatically, you don't have to worry. It's just an easy and then there are people like Shravan and I to help you out at every step where you say, I feel I'm lost my direction. What should I be doing? That's fine. That's why you need the network to help you out. That's why I'm saying you cannot connect the dots forward. You can connect the dots retrospectively that this is what I've done, this is what I'm good at, this is what I want to project to the world. But now something hits you, reach out to people like us. We'll always be there.
Yes.
I think that's what Shravan is also trying to achieve in my short understanding of whatever he's been talking about. He would like to be that person, and I think that's a great thing. And that is going to be his speciality now going forward. Maybe he had the software avatar now, engineering avatar earlier. Now he'll become the person who's able to open up mastery and opportunities for thousands and thousands of young people. So, and that will become a name where somebody will say, "Hey, need help? Go to Shravan. He'll figure it out for you." So I think that's how I think he builds his mastery.
So, Rimy, we will. I really want you to know this was, it's late for me also, not as late as.
I mean, I think it went beyond our plan 10:20. I was
No, that's
thinking,
okay. I mean, I'm still enjoying it. So I will contact you. I will have conversations with you, and I'm actually coming to India on October 23rd.
Oh, I see.
I'll be coming to Hyderabad.
All right. Wonderful. Let me see if I can do something. I am based out of Delhi NCR, but it'll be great to figure out if we can meet. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. We'll, I can.
At
If
least
you
give me
can
a
come,
call. We can figure it out,
yeah, absolutely. We'll do that. And, the way you are willing to assist, these young people and everyone, just speak so much about you. And I'm really, glad to know you, and I'm looking forward to knowing you more. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
It was
Tarun,
a
do you want
pleasure.
to?
Yeah, it was a pleasure here also. Madhu, thank you for connecting me to your wonderful community. Would not have happened without your thoughtfulness. He just decided on his own that I am, equipped to, do this. And I thank you. So thank you also for that. And lovely to meet all of you. I can feel the energy, even though it's only an online meeting, and that's great.
Same here, ma'am. Yes. Thank you so much. Before we end the call, let us listen Ashitaka's comments also. Ashitaka?
Yeah. Hello once again, ma'am. Thank you so much for this beautiful talk you gave us all. So I am basically a psychology graduate, and now I'm pursuing my master's in human resource and organization development. So always, even when I started my master's, I even told to Shravan sir and many of my teammates know, like I wanted to focus on leadership. So when mother told us that you're going to talk about leadership, that really kind of gave me a feeling of a very good thing that you're going to come and talk about leadership. And today, your talk really gave a different perspective. Like in the beginning of the session, when you asked what are you good at, what mastery you're good at, I really had many things which I'm good at, but I'm not totally good at those things. Suppose say leadership or communication skills, everything. So, but as you went through the session, you told mastery is not just the thing that you are totally good at it. You'll be learning gradually. So that point gave me a really different perspective on what I'm good at and what is actually a mastery. Thank you so much for this beautiful session, ma'am. And like as Shravan sir said, we are all willing to connect with you in the further and be connected with you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Please connect with me on LinkedIn. Easiest way to message me anytime. Of course, Madhu has my email ID also, so happy to connect on email, and phone number also, not a problem at all. I have noticed that young people, are excited to take phone numbers, but they don't ask a lot of questions. So I have no problem sharing. Okay. But my problem is people don't ask enough questions. So please do not lose out on opportunities like this. You guys are so lucky. We've learned, Shravan can absolutely say, validate it. We've learned on our own. All of us are mostly self-made people. at a time when there was no internet. We were reading from encyclopedias and
Yes.
borrowed books from others.
Yes.
Worked every day. I think principally worked every day of our lives, and that is compounding. And you guys have so much better to not think about your personal circumstances as being any way less than the best in the country. But it is the difference is where you decide to invest your time and energy in getting better and better at something. So choose what your vocation is and be at it. There's no reason why you'll not be the best.
Thank you, Rimy. I have a. I want you to consider this. Is it possible? You said you have a Thai meeting in Delhi or something.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility for Ashrita to attend?
I'll have
That
to check with the Thai team and what kind of avatar can she attend. I'll check with her. I'm sure there should not be no problem, but I'll just check with the team.
Ashrita is extremely talented. So if the times meet, she can help out in the organization there, organizing the event. She can host events. She can even, use that time to create, because Thai events, they have to figure out how to make it better next year, right?
Right.
So Ashrita can be one of those people who can walk around, get all the information, and see how she can. Because anyway, it's all part of her master's program where she is trying to get into organizational development. So she can be that.
Where is she based? Is she based in Delhi? Is she based in some other part?
She's in
Chennai, ma'am.
Chennai.
You're in Chennai. So
Yeah.
how are you going to manage your? So let's talk about it offline. I'll, maybe Shravan, I can talk to you, or I can talk to Ashrita myself. If you could, Madhu, if you share all the details on an email with me, phone number, I can speak to Ashrita. We can speak directly and figure it out.
Yes.
And then let's see what we can figure out. No problem, Shravan. I'll speak to her directly.
We should be able to. If Ashrita can take time off, maybe it's a day or two, she can just fly over to Delhi. Be there. Finding a place to stay is not that hard.
Yeah, that's not difficult. Yeah. And we'll figure it out. But Thai has the same centers in Chennai also. I can check with the Chennai team whether they need support. I'm sure they do. I can check with the Bangalore team or Chennai team. Why Delhi? So they have the same programs running across the country. The dates might be slightly different, but it's around the same time itself. So I definitely agree with you on that. Organizing skills.
But she'll get to meet you, Rimy. That's why.
Yeah.
So she's coming on because the more you leave your home and go somewhere else, what it actually makes you actually learn more.
Absolutely, no doubt.
So,
getting out of the comfort zone is important. Yeah.
So it will really help you. She coming all the way there, she will take it more seriously also. She'll say, oh my God, I'm going all the way there. So there will be more of a preparation. There will be more of, and I'm telling you, Rimy, I know Ashrita very well. I think she will, she will add energy to the event there. So look into it. It just the thought came in right now. Okay.
Sure.
All Tarun, go ahead with your final comments, and then we'll close the event.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Rimy. I thought when I listened to the topic called Principles of Leadership, I thought it would be a presentation. And Rimy will be speaking on that presentation. I thought, but without presentation, you made the session around 50 to 60 minutes. Really, I inspired with the way you handle the session, the way you interact with us. Really, thank you so much. You make us learn new things with your this new way of presentation. Yeah.
I asked a lot of questions, Tarun. Tarun was like, I didn't expect to be questioned in an entire presentation. Good. See, this is what happens when you say you're good at something. People now expect you to have the answers.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to interact. I hope to stay in touch. Yeah, take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Signing off.
Thank you.
Signing off,
Bye-bye.
Tarun Gangadhari, and signing off, Team Toppers. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.